It's time to defeat Erodius. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here for the final two episodes, Season 3, Episodes 5 and 6 of Kid Cosmic. And it's wild to think that we're here at the end already. I mean, I know this is a short season, and each season has been 2 episodes shorter than the last, but I just feel like it's gone by so quick. This has had such a wild runtime issue in terms of the season length, but the story being told here is really good, and I think that while there definitely could be a lot more that they explored with these characters and this story, I think having it be shorter is a good thing, because I think a lot of shows nowadays don't need a huge amount of seasons and episodes and all. I just wish this had a little bit more. Just like a few more episodes in there to really flesh things out a little better, especially with this last season. Seasons 1 and 2 were mostly fine, even with Season 2 being a couple episodes shorter than Season 1. But this season did suffer from having less episodes. Even with 2 more episodes to finish it out, I still feel like it feels rushed. Like, even the plot line of figuring out the that they were in this like fake world created by Phantos and everything, and the portal stone, it's like that's it felt like it was rushed through way too quickly, and I feel like we needed to spend more time in there to figure that all out. Even with a show like this that tends to be pretty fast paced, I think it just would have helped things a little bit better. And that's not to say what we're getting is bad. What we're getting is still good. But yeah, that's all I'm saying. So now we have to formulate our plan and take on Erodius and Phantos and truly save the universe, really. As well as actually get back to Earth this time, not like for pretend. So it's going to be interesting to see how this final battle goes and to see exactly how we end up winning. But I have faith. I have faith that it's going to be pretty good. We have 2 episodes here. This episode, episode 5, is going to 100% be like entirely focused on that. Episode 6 might like finish that off, I'm thinking, and then go into like kind of the aftermath stuff. Them getting back to Earth and, dealing with going back to everything that they've been doing. Going back to their lives and all. As much as they can at this point, really. Yeah. I'm very, very excited to see how this ends. Also sad to see that it is ending. But glad to have gone on this journey. So let us get this going and see what we have for these final 2 episodes. Hold up just a second there. Before you click that link down in the description below to go to today's reaction, I just wanted to take this moment real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions, with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. And don't forget about all the awesome gaming content over on the Princess of Gaming channel. Every single day of the week, we have some awesome Let's Plays for you. A bunch of different things to check out, and more coming in the future. And don't forget to click that subscribe button or like the video if you really enjoy the content I'm putting out. There will be more to come in the future. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in, and let's get this going. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. This is pretty much, I feel like, how this needed to end. It had a happy ending that kept its spirit, its idea alive. while also kind of showing that things do have to change to a degree. It's like it embraces both change and like remembering everything you went through at the same time. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So let's talk about this. So the first one was about the battle against Phantos and Herodias, and Phantos ends up being obviously a very formidable foe to the point that Kid and the heroes can't stop him. With his mastery of the stones and everything, Kid and the heroes just cannot stop him. And they end up losing completely. He actually ends up being defeated by Herodias itself. So Herodias is sentient. My little theory on maybe it's not actually sentient, it's just like a thing floating through space, absorbing all these planets and everything, just by gravity. But no, it is a sentient being. It ends up turning on Phantos, I guess because Phantos is fucking annoying. And it actually absorbs him, funny enough. It turns the ground into slime using that power and sucks him up into it. And I really thought when Kid went down there he was going to save Phantos, but no, he just got the stones. It really seemed like he was going to save Phantos. So Phantos just died. So from every bit of evidence we have, Phantos was absorbed into Herodias and just is dead. Okay. Um, and someone else who almost died is Papa G. We find out that the theory about the lucky stone he has around his neck is actually the 14th stone. We find out that that is true. So definitely called that one. And we find out that it's not a stone of power in the same way. It's actually the only remaining piece of Herodias's original, like, core body. Because we find out that Herodias originally, when whole, was a healing planet. A planet that had sentience and was able to use its powers to heal and restore anyone who would come to it. Traveling around the galaxy, presumably around the universe, maybe even, and it would just help others. But at some point, this asteroid or something hit Herodias. It was this massive asteroid and destroyed the planet. Herodias ended up like the spirit of Herodias, because living planet and everything, ended up traveling through the galaxy and pulling in other planets to rebuild itself. And as it ends up being put, it basically it's basically a representation for how trauma can lead you to hurting others. Like the metaphor is not lost on me. And it's balanced out by showing how Kid's trauma of losing his parents and even almost losing Papa G has turned him into a heroic person, a good person. It's literally, this series showcases both sides of that. But Herodias was pulling in all these other planets because it just wanted to rebuild itself, and at the same time look for the piece of itself that had been lost. And we found out that since Papa G picked it up, he's always been in good health, always been really durable, which is how he survived nearly being crushed by rocks and stuff. And we find out that he's actually 112, which means he's probably not Kid's grandfather. Like, Kid calls him grandpa and everything, but in all honesty, Kid's like, what, 12? So he was either Kid's great grandfather or even possibly great great grandfather. Just judging on the fact that he's 100 years older than Kid. It's just insane to think about. So we also, through all of this, see this big flashback sequence of how Kid first started to live with Papa G after after his parents' death, and how it took some time for him to start warming up to and caring about Papa G in the same way, because he was going through trauma. But how their connection really did like form strongly. And it's this just really emotional, heartfelt moment. It's really well done. And so when when he ends up sacrificing his stone to save Herodias, it does take its physical toll on him to the point where he's like, his age is catching up to him. But it almost makes it seem like he's not going to be able to get off Herodias with everyone else, but luckily he does. It kind of plays with our emotions for a bit there. It kind of makes us think he didn't get off, because the episode ends like before it reveals what happened, and then the next episode starts with like a funeral scene, and it's like, oh, they actually fucking killed him off, and then no, he just strolls in, because shows have done that. And I feel like I'm okay with this, because even though it's on Netflix and is able to get away with more than like if it were on Cartoon Network, it's still a Craig McCracken show, and I don't feel like Craig McCracken would actually go through with that. And it's nothing against him saying that. I'm not saying like he doesn't have the guts to do that. No, I just don't think it fits his style, really. It's not really what he goes for. But Papa G, even though he is alive, is in a wheelchair. He's a lot older looking, a lot more decrepit looking. He's aging, notably. And he's not going to live for too much longer. Um, but yeah, everyone comes back and they hold this funeral service to bury the stones that, don't have any power anymore because of Herodias's um, revival. So they bury the stones in the crater where Mo's Oasis used to be. And then the government comes. The government's like, okay, we're going to give you this literal hush money. You're not allowed to tell anybody. And even if you do, we're just going to deny everything anyway, because the internet already has all these wild crack ass theories. And it's like, we're giving you like, it was like $5 million or something like that. And so, of course, Joe uses it to build a new or not Joe, Flo. Flo uses it to build a new oasis right in the same spot. And 6 months later, they're getting ready to open. Kid is not having a good time, though. He's trying to get some new comics he's drawing published that tells, like, the adventures that they all went on. But no one's accepting it. None of the publishers he sent them to are accepting it. And he's getting upset as well, because everybody's just kind of moving on. Everybody's kind of moving on and going on with their lives. And in his eyes, not really acknowledging or like just kind of sticking with everything that had already happened. So he ends up getting angry, and he ends up seeing that the PPG power and gas inspector who's coming just happens to look like the one of the PPG women from the fantasy world, which that's just a weird coincidence, I guess. Um, and he goes back because he thinks that this means that it's a fake world, and it kind of got me thinking that for a second. But no, he just kind of admits that he's just upset at how they're all handling this and that they're all acting like nothing happened. And so he kind of throws a little bit of a hissy fit. after attacking the Oasis a little bit with a pickaxe, he ends up leaving. So they set up this little thing where they're going to send out radio signals to invite all their alien customers to come to Earth and to experience the Earth form, the original style of Mo's Oasis. And so it takes some time, but it works, and Kid gets to, experience all of this, all of the space stuff that they went through, and gets to see that it's like, okay, we're not going to forget about it. We're going to embrace it. And again, it kind of goes with the idea of like, yeah, we got to move on to a degree, but we should also embrace parts of our past. We should also embrace the things that we went through that changed us, that shaped us, that made us who we are. It showcases the nuance of that kind of situation. Because this entire adventure undoubtedly changed and allowed everyone here to grow. And because of that, like, Kid's right that they should, like, not only acknowledge, but they should embrace those changes. Going back to exactly how the way things were, it's just like you're kind of ignoring all of that. But you should also be able to move on to a degree. My only question is, how are the alien customers paying? Because if they're paying an alien money, it's like that's not going to help Flo get more ingredients and stuff to make more. I mean, I know that it's a cartoon and it's probably not thinking about that. And I understand that, they already live in the middle of nowhere, so it's like, how did she get all her ingredients anyway? And who was even visiting besides the local group anyway? So it's like, maybe she'll raise prices for the human customers. I don't know. But yeah, we see like everyone has decided to embrace this, and it's again a great message, a great way to handle that. And with the other themes and messages this show has tackled, again with like loss and grieving and trauma and everything, I think that this show did really well expressing stuff like this through its characters. The characters were definitely the best part of this series. Like, they're so diverse and interesting, so likable, so unique. Um, and I feel like some characters did kind of like stop being characters after a while. Chuck, I think his name is. I'm saying I think his name is because, let's be honest, he hasn't been much of a character since season 1. He was a little bit in season 2, but as each season progressed, he became less and less of an actual character and more of like one of the background side heroes, like I like any of them, like Carla and Fry and all of them. It's like he really became less and less of a character each season, to the point where it's like I miss how like big of a deal he was in season 1. And I know he already kind of went through his character arc, so he didn't really need to go through much more, but still, I just kind of wish he would have been more in these second and third seasons. Um, I do really like that they kind of confirmed there, though, that this was meant to be like a 24 episode limited series. They kind of gave like the little bit of a meta joke with the comic, because kids saying, "Oh, I'm on issue this, but this is going to be a 24 issue limited series, and it's all about their adventures throughout this time." So it's very clear what it's representing there. I think that's very fun. Um, so yeah, it seems like it was mostly Netflix that decided to split it up into seasons like this. And admittedly, even with that knowledge, the ending portion of this, I guess, still the last 6 episodes did feel rushed. Like, even if it were released as just a 24 episode series in its entirety rather than 3 seasons, it's still male person. It still feels rushed in this last arc, I guess you could say, because it's just like the stuff with the fake world in general. It's like just was like swept past really quickly. And I don't know if there was another reason for that or if Netflix had anything to do with it. I don't know. I can't say. But it does seem like the intent was just for the 24 episodes. It was never meant to be anything more. It was just a limited series. Story Craig McCracken wanted to tell. And I, for one, like, even with some of the issues it does have, it's not perfect. I loved it. I thought it was great. I got really into the characters. I got into the story. It's definitely a lot more mature and intense than he was ever able to do with like Powerpuff Girls or Foster's Home or whatnot. And I'm really happy with where it ended out. If they had actually like killed Papa G, I think it still would have been done well. But I also feel like it makes more sense for a Craig McCracken show to not. Like I said before. I like what they did with Herodias, though. Herodias was never really a villain, per se, but was like a traumatized being that was basically acting out. That was, like throwing a hissy fit, just like Kid did at the end. Just because it was, destroyed and wanted to get its full form back. Herodias was never the real villain. It was Phantos. It was this dumbass nerd who had a poor misunderstanding of the entire situation from the get-go and was utilizing Herodias for his own selfish desires and crazy ideals. There's definitely a lot you can take from that. But yeah, Herodias wasn't actually the bad guy in the end, which was a twist. I didn't see that coming, to be fair. Um, but yeah, I really liked how this ended. I really liked how it just progressively got more intense and exciting. I will say, like, with my issues with season 3 here, season 2 is absolutely my favorite. Like, not even close. Season 2 is the best in terms of the writing, the character work. Joe's arc alone is phenomenal. Joe's arc in season 2 is the best character arc in this series. And I love Kid's arc. I love Papa G's arc. I love all these other characters. Um, but Joe's arc was so exceptionally well done. I loved just the threat level in season 2, the intensity, the excitement. I like the even the characters, having their arguments and Joe kind of going off on her own and everything. It's manufactured drama to a degree, but it's still good. It's good drama. I really, really enjoyed that season more than the others. Season 3 is the weakest, in my opinion, by far. And part of that is only having 6 episodes because of how this was split up. But again, even without that, this arc, especially with the fantasy world, was just way too rushed. It needed like at least 2 more episodes, I would say. At least. But possibly more. And I understand this was supposed to be just a like the fantasy world was supposed to be like a short like bridge between the first battle with Herodias and then the second and final battle. And that again, if this was not meant to be seasonal like this, it was meant to be a 24 episode limited series, then you can definitely see how it was maybe just cut off at the wrong point. But at the same time, it just feels really rushed. So yeah, I think I think that it just could have been better, or maybe again better like cut up between the seasons. But either way, I really enjoyed the series as a whole, and it sucks that it's over. It sucks that this is the end of this. So, just like with other stuff this week, we are finishing up a few different shows this week. And just like with everything, I'm not telling you what's replacing it. We're not only having 3 shows being replaced next week, but we're adding in a couple more as well. 5 new shows start next week. And because of that, I'm choosing to keep it a secret what's replacing everything. The only one that I'm telling you that is coming next week is Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur Season two's return. Everything else, the other 4 shows we're going to be starting next week, are going to be kept secret until they are put up. And I'm very excited to bring some of these to you. I hope you're excited to see what I've got in store with these reactions, because it's gonna be quite a stacked list. I'll tell you that much. So yeah, you're gonna have to wait to see what comes next, but I guarantee you it's gonna be some great stuff. And that starts, like I said, next week. I have to change the mid card thing on these reaction videos still. I don't know. The problem is, if I change that for next week, then on Monday you're going to be able to see everything that's coming throughout the week. Unless I wait to change it until Friday. We'll see. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Either way, I'd love to hear what you think of this final season, these final 2 episodes, and Kid Cosmic as a whole. I would love to hear your thoughts, so tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this series, of this season, of these final 2 episodes? And thank you, as always, so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.